And today saw the launch of the security operations by the Joint Security Task Force for the upcoming APEC. More importantly, the launch is in preparation for the hosting of the first senior officials meeting, which begins at the end of this week. Kaligan Tanda with this report.
The dry run was a simulation of what the arrival and reception of the visiting economists to the country would be. The route from the Jackson's Airport to the Stanley Hotel was to give the security forces, the media and even the public what to expect. Assistant Commissioner APAC and Deputy Commander of the Joint Security Task Force, Nawa Vanuawaru, stated that today's exercise was important for the security personnel when the delegates commenced the first senior officials meeting, or SOM1, this Saturday.
It is the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, Papua New Guinea Defence Force, Papua New Guinea Correctional Services, and other 25 stakeholders or departments of Papua New Guinea. So we're yet to firm up the numbers, but at this point in time, the estimate looks at about 1,000 in total.
Assistant Commissioner Vanuawaru stated that there are two major exercises and other minor ones leading up to the Leaders Summit in November. Bilateral partners and members of the Joint Security Task Force will be providing support to PNG with land, air and sea elements. However, all of it would still remain a Pacific-led operation.
It's going to be a Pacific-led operation as well. So we are welcoming, we are encouraged by that, and we will support that direction that the government is taking. And we will definitely look at the design of the security environment once we firm up on the administrative and operational issues.
In testing its preparedness for APAC, the PNG Defence Force is providing the Incidents Response Group as a capability for counter-terrorism. The first senior officials meeting starts on the 24th of this month. Kaligan Tanda, PNGTV Live.
Government-run schools within the country also highly depend on TFF funds to operate yearly. The question still remains, did all schools receive their funds last year? And if they did, were these monies used for its intended purpose? Billy Tai, Community Councillor for Leale's community, says schools play an important role in rural communities and it is a cry for most parents to have their children well educated.
We have two schools, elementary and primary. Yeah, and the government funding or government assistance here is just only through this TFF. And that's all, but nothing else. The assistance that we are receiving today is mainly from ExxonMobil.
He further raised concerns about the TFF funds that should be released on time and without delay because many schools in the rural areas depend on these funds to operate.
Concern is to release the TFF funds on time so that whatever needs that arise in the schools that needs to be upgraded or whatever will be carried out on time or whatever. But due to this TFF funds not reaching the school on time, it's a problem, giving us a lot of problem.
Mr. Tai added that with the increasing population and issues arising in the society and the villages, educating the younger generation is now top priority. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. And welcome back. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. Electoral Commissioner Patilias Gamato has announced the program for the 2018 local level government elections. The Minister for Intergovernment Relations, Kevin Isufu, had approved the days for the conduct of the LLG elections on the 7th of February this year. The issuing of writs, or also marking the the commencement of nominations, is on the 26th of July. Close of nominations, the 1st of August. Start of polling is on the 20th of August 2018, and the end of polling is on the 3rd of September, while the return of writs is before the 24th of September 2018. In terms of preparations, Mr. Gamato says the PNG Electoral Commission has already started preparation work for the conduct of the LLG elections. Commissioner Gamato, meantime, clarified the confusion surrounding the election of LLG presidents in the 2018 elections. He says the National Executive Council on December 2015 had approved by way of a cabinet decision that ward members will elect LLG presidents in their respective legislative assemblies. Mr. Gamato says that this decision still stands. Unless there's a change in the decision, PNG Electoral Commission will conduct one election for the ward members in the 2018 LLG elections using the limited preferential voting system. Close to 90% of the population live in rural areas, and access to these widely scattered communities is often difficult. From all the issues arising like every other community in the country, youth issues remain the talk of many communities as parents and community leaders try their best to do away with substance abuse in their communities. Substance abuse is increasing at an alarming rate, not only in the city but also in the rural villages, and has become a development issue for the nation. Lea Lea Community Council Billy Tai says PNG's young population is extremely vulnerable to this disastrous problem, and it should be treated as an issue of concern.
We have a lot of problem in the village here, especially in the home brew. Mainly the home brew. Home brew is the main factor problem that we have here, we face here every day in, day out. People, youths consuming this and consuming this home brew, and also marijuana.
He added that in rural communities, opportunities are limited for youths. Therefore, there is an increase in substance abuse for many who think that it is a solution to their problem.
Opportunities provided for them. That's why they are getting themselves involved in these things. And I'm trying my very best to get rid of this problem, solve this problem. And I need the government and the authorities to sort of assist.
Tai added that in their community alone, it is a battle to solve such issues at hand faced by youths, and the community is not giving up the fight to stop substance abuse, for they know the youths can do better.
Church executives and church people are also trying their best to solve this youth problem in my village here.
Do you look forward to better for your place?
Yes, I look forward for the betterment of my village here.
Proper sanitation and clean drinking water has been an issue for impacted landowners along the Motu Koitabu villages under the PNG LNG gas project. With the opening of the new water supply for the village last year, facilitated by Kairukuhiri MP Peter Iso Aimo at a cost of 5 million kina, the villagers hope the water supply will serve hundreds along the coastline. Lea Lea Community Council Billy Tai says so far the structures of the project is already in place with the contractors signed on top of the project. He added that within the next few weeks his people will be receiving water at their doorsteps.
To the New Year period, we have been fetching water through those pipes just for testing of the pipes and all this. Yes. And we've been having water during the construction, just to see the flow of the water that is coming through the villages or through the pipes.
Tai said that before the project came to the village, it had been a struggle for the villagers to fetch water every day from the mountains, walking 3 to 5 kilometers from the main village.
During the dry season times, we have been facing a lot of problems. Our wells does not run whole throughout the year. It goes dry, and then we find water from we get water from these water carts that and they sell them for about 5 kina a container.
With the assistance of the central provincial government in making sure the province's visions are met and basic government services are delivered, Tai says the success of the water project will really help the people.
The ones who are looking after our IDG funds in our trust accounts, and from there, they have been they have given us 5 million kina for this water project to take place, and the project is now already been completed, and we're looking forward to receive the water through the taps.
You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. We continue to see our informal sector cater for the needs of families through a thriving and struggling young population, even at our traffic lights. Walking or driving around the city of Port Moresby, one sight that cannot be missed, especially at the traffic lights, are men, women, and even children struggling to make ends meet each day along a very risky location. They are normally spotted sitting at the roadside at the traffic lights around the city, waiting for the perfect timing at the mercy of kind buyers. With the few seconds left before the lights go green, it is hoped that they earn something. Wagi Boy is a street seller and says it's hard doing it every day, as much as he and his many mates that stand around the roads don't want to, they have to because they have to feed families.
Aku milwa stop Liblo City and milwa stop osem. Aku milwa sa kaya na sit down sleep. Aku milwa sa til kisimo sanding na salim. Buai and one was sanding police party milwa lem. Sto sanding milwa sa til under sign milwa sa kara sanding am sales. Profit to sa profit milwa sa kaya na mama mani sa kimi ken. Milwa sa wagi mo na kaya na stop. Drink one.
While Port Moresby plays host to the APEC 2018, they question authorities to look into their plight.
Kaman so look sa milwa osem. Slakano sanding am so lo mo so am lakano ground out of boundary of countryside or slakain give him some opportunity la milwa lo stop. O kurlo sanding na kama wada bayim is now na kaya na stop city. The sanding kaman look sa milwa the time lo gimet.
He added that the reason why youths are dominating the informal sector to earn a living is because most of them cannot afford going to school.
Milwa leng lo mangi mosem. Consent milwa mosem. Gola kaman so look sa lo milwa. Lo site lo samla sa rosem. Sponsor lo school site lo some walk and but so sanding kaman so look sa lo milwa. Kaman look sa lo milwa the time lo stop osem. Lo struggle lo simol sanding na walk coins na stop lo city milwa mosem. Pitimol milwa na family milwa tu na.
Wagi has called on government to look at the realities of life, many of whom are desperate youths. Accusation-based violence or sorcery-related violence has been the topic for many workplaces, homes, sports grounds, and communities. The stories have been fueled by horrific images of mostly women and girls who have been brutally abused or killed due to these accusations of practicing sorcery. Both the social media and traditional media have also presented more horror than solutions of dealing with this very sensitive issue. The question is now focused on, does sorcery exist and how can this be proven? Pastor Richmond Tamanabai from the CRC City Gate Tabernacle in Lay provides some clarity. Florida Gulaseni with this report.
In a country like ours, rich in traditional heritage, values passed on from one generation to another, beliefs that have been built on trust and family ties, more than 800 languages spoken by unique clans, and beautiful colors of traditional styles and dances that can light up any showground, sorcery is just one of the many beliefs that still exist in our communities. Sometimes we continue to tackle without any solid proof to date. With the government, non-government organizations and normal citizens in Papua New Guinea who understand what sorcery is in general, Pastor Richmond says there is also a need to understand the religious view of sorcery.
In Papua New Guinea, sorcery is very much part of the fabric of our society. There is not a society in Papua New Guinea that would not understand what sorcery is.
With the recent sorcery accusation-based violence happenings, Papua New Guinea needs to come together and speak with one voice against the abuses and killings and not dwell too much on its existence.
Strategy which identifies the role of the government, the role of the medical service, the role of the pastors and churches, role of the communities, and we can discuss and identify and set some guidelines.
Pastor Richmond further challenged Christians to help in this spiritual battle and to work together to confront the issue.
Our nation is up in a battle of this force of darkness. The only way we will overcome and win is through the power of prayer. And this is literally what has been happening, and this is what we are challenging our villages to do now.
Florida Gulaseni, PNGTV Live.
And finally, to some sporting news, a 20-man squad for the Commonwealth Rugby League Games has been named following the successful PNG Super Nines Challenge in Goroka over the weekend. The squad will be trimmed down to 15 before the team travels to Brisbane on Thursday. The squad includes players Ja Hogan from Goroka Lahanis, John Ruggie Jr. and Epel Kapinias from Rabao Gurias, Emmanuel Herrera from Gulf Iso, Joshua Jimmy from Simbu Warriors, and Raven John from the Mount Hagen Eagles. PNG will be defending the gold medal won at the last Commonwealth Games in 2014 in Glasgow. That's the PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More at 7 p.m. tomorrow from myself and the news team. It's good night.